Moving into checkpoint 3 today, this is a claim with evidence and reasoning. Okay, so you're going to individually construct an explanation that answers the following question. Again, use your evidence from previous class activities to justify your response. So the main question that you are trying to answer in the CER is, are all resources distributed evenly throughout the world? Why or why not? So the way that I've set up your CER, your claim is this first box, and again, in yellow is kind of like the prompt, and then on the right-hand side, I tried to give you some like sentence starters to help you out or some prompts to help you out. So if you're looking, the claim is the first thing. I want you to choose a sentence for your claim. You're going to delete the other sentence. There's also some key concepts that I want to make sure that you include in your because response. You should probably talk about continental drift and climate. So the first one is resources are distributed evenly throughout the world because, and then give me an answer, or resources are not distributed evenly throughout the world because, and then give me your because answer, including that continental drift and climate. Delete the other one. You're either deleting the statement above the or the statement below the or. Next, you're going to go into your evidence, and it says provide scientific data that supports your claim. Data also includes numbers and or percents. So you're going to describe evidence or data about oil and where it can be found around the world. You're going to use that engage and explore activities. What countries have the most? That would be a good part to start adding in some of that data numbers that you used on the activity before your gaining evidence activity. Then you're going to move on to evidence. It says provide scientific data that supports your claim. So describe evidence and data about coal and where it can be found around the world. You can again use that engage and explore activities. What countries have the most? Again, you're going to put in your answer there. Then it says reasoning. Explain why your evidence supports your claim. And again, are resources distributed evenly throughout the world, or they're not distributed evenly throughout the world? That's what you're trying to link. So you're going to describe and explain why the resources are not found evenly distributed around the world. What reasoning explains why resources are not equally distributed, and some key concepts that I want you to include in your because for your response here is how is oil formed? Tell me how coal is formed. Talk about continental drift. Talk about different climates, things like that. Okay. Then if you scroll down, there is a blue section and it says optional to complete for a higher score. So the first part is the minimum. If you're looking for a higher grade, you're going to go and answer the questions past the blue line. So it says connect to the bigger idea. Describe and explain how the movement of plates affect the distribution of resources. Connect your knowledge from our Explore Lab and your Engage resources to form your response. And again, some key concepts that I'd like you to include are convergence, subduction boundaries, continental drift, Pangea, climate, all of these things that we talked about, including our checkpoint 1. Then I want you to describe and explain how humans how human activity affects the distribution of our resources. So some key concepts that I'd want you to include in your response would be like non-renewable resources, the availability, like quantity and time would be something that you might want to talk about with those two for those resources. And you can even look back at the reading that I read to you last class to help you with that. It was on your part 2, that last question on your part 2 assignment, how humans are affecting the distribution of oil and natural gas on Earth. We talked about that. Then highlighted in blue, it says, now go back through your work and highlight and add in scientific vocabulary throughout your response. So any vocab words that we've gone over, we've done plate tectonics already for like natural hazards and Mission Possible stuff, and any vocab that we've talked about already in class for our ecosystems relationships might be something that you can add in and highlight throughout to show that you have you can utilize that scientific vocab. Now, once you keep going, there's a self-assessment section. Again, this is just for you to do your self-assessment to see if you're hitting those marks. I've also included the rubric that I'm going to be using in order to grade you on that assignment. It's called Constructing an Evidence-Based Explanation, and you can go through and see how close you are and if you're missing anything. And if you notice scientific vocab is accurately included and defined, that's in the level 4 section, so don't forget about that piece. So After that overview, you can go back and jump in and have some work time to work on those different activities throughout the day. But your homework is going to be to do checkpoint 2 revisions with your group. Again, recorders are going to be the only one that resubmit that after you make those revisions. That's going to be due on Monday and Tuesday, depending on when I see you in science. And then your checkpoint 3 is also going to be due on Monday and Tuesday. So I'm looking for that claim, evidence, and reasoning so that I can give you some feedback and a practice grade. You also have your STL goal for your BYOP. Checkpoint 3 was due on Wednesday, this past Wednesday. You're starting checkpoint 4, it sounds like, on Monday and Tuesday with Mr. Holscher. So you've got a little bit of wiggle room, but we really need that time to give you feedback on that checkpoint 3 to really help support you in checkpoint 4. So make that a top priority for you as well. Next week, we do not have school on Friday on Valentine's Day, so it's looking like we are going to be running a AB day week, so you won't have a mentor day next week. Feel free to reach out if you have any questions, and happy learning.